Yeah.
So have there been any other women like you who've been faced by a male opponent and conceded?
Yes, since I conceded, we've actually had I think a six now. Six other pool players have done it um in this country. We had Kim O'Brien do it in the European final against Harriet. Um, Frankie Rogers done it. Ilda Machado done it. Jo Hobday, England. She's Black Ball England captain. She did it as well. A lady called Xenia Heap. She also did it. Yeah, so we've had about six, I think, altogether now. Um, and I think that will continue. To be honest, I think people said it. People have said that because it hasn't happened to Lucy Smith, it looks like bullying. But it's the thing is, it's not something that you're being told to do. It's an individual choice, and we can't. Nobody can tell you what to do, whether to play or not to play. You're going to get judged if you play and judged if you don't play, I guess. So nobody can make that choice for you. So it just so happens that nobody who's played against Lucy Smith has been the person that has conceded. It's just a coincidence. That's all it is. It's not bullying or picking on one person at all. Um, and most of the time, when Harriet has Lucy has been knocked out, it's been by Harriet. To be honest with you, when you don't see them both, or
Ridiculous.
it's Harriet gets beaten like Kirsty, who beat her in the final. It's one of the best, the best. I mean, you get one come along every 10 years that you call a goat. And I think generationally, it probably happens in every single sport in women's sports where one will come along, smash the part, just be tons above the rest. And we do get one about every 10 years. Kirsty's one of them. And she beat Harriet. Anna has beaten Harriet several times in the past. But Harriet tends to lose to those players. Emma Cunningham will beat her. Amy will beat her. Amy Beauchamp. But when they do win, it's often just really close. It's like 5-4, 5-3,
Mm.
6-5. So it's never that one of them's. I think Kirsty might have beat a 5-1 once, actually. So it's not entirely true that it never happens that they don't win heavily. But most of the time, it's the other way around that Harriet and Lucy are winning 5-0 or 5-1 most of the time. But because it's in groups a lot of the time, the results being so heavy get overlooked. Because then once you get past the group stage, you just got a few rounds in the knockouts before you're in the final, before you know it in the pro bit. So,
How did Harriet react when you conceded?
well, well, there's two. That's the thing. See, there's the reaction that was seen on that video, um, of Harriet looking quite shocked. But that's not really what happened at all because there's more than one video, and I mean, I'm happy to send it to you after this if you like. But there's a video of me being mocked, completely mocked afterwards, where there's a gun symbol put to the head and implying that I'm crazy.
By Harriet?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Shouting out freebie, 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 freebie to a group of her friends who shouted back to her. And rent free was the other thing. Rent free pointed at her head, meaning that I'm, living in her head or whatever.
Oh God.
Which is not was not true at all. But yeah, because I did have it. I'm a very empathetic person, and I felt incredibly guilty after I walked away and started to worry about what if I pushed someone so far and really hurt their feelings, and what have I done? And God, what have I done? That's how I felt initially, and then I got sent that video the same night. I got sent that to my inbox and I watched it and I literally couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, all the empathy I might have had just went straight out the window. And I felt like, to be honest with you, like it was a partner, an ex-partner I had once who used to mock me and made me feel like I was going a bit mad and stuff and would say that it said things you didn't say and doing that just reminded me of that going through that period of my life. And I thought, this is really showing the true colours of this person because, like I said earlier, I don't think this is a trans issue at all. I think it's a fairness issue, and any individual that does put themselves into a women's sport I just think is selfishness. I've got three sons that play the sport. And that was actually my bingo moment was when I played Lucy Smith for the first time in 2022. And Lucy's a very similar height, weight, build as my eldest son, same age as well, but similar. And I just beat the world champion 4-3, and I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. And anyway, I was buzzing that I'd just beaten Amy Beauchamp. And I walked to my next opponent, got called out my next opponent, and I walked to the table and thought, this has got to be a wind up. This can't be real. Like, I've just been the world champion, now you're giving me a man. I mean, it was just a man wearing purple nail varnish. And the pumps with stripy socks were the other things that I guess you could call women's shoes that men wouldn't wear probably. But um, there was nothing else, and I knew straight away it was a man. I could tell straight away, and I thought this has got to be a joke because the back of the nickname on the back was Geeky Lucy as well, which I thought, why would you call yourself Geeky Lucy? And and because a lot of men have been online laughing at and saying we're going to just rope up and in a dress and play, if we're because if men are allowed to play. So I thought that's what someone had done. I thought someone had done it as a joke, to
Right.
see how far they could push it or whatever. And it wasn't until we'd actually broke for the and the game had started, and then I could hear some support coming from behind. I think presumably it was one of Lucy's parents cheering them on every shot, and I thought this actually isn't a joke. And if that was my son standing in front of me right now, I'd be bloody mortified, ashamed, embarrassed. I'd probably have say, "Don't even speak to me anymore. If you're going to play this, you can do what you like with your personal life. Do what you like, but don't come into women's sports and disrespect women in this way." I just didn't raise my sons to be like that, and so that was actually the moment I started to vocally express how I felt, and I wrote complaints to the pool organisations after playing that match and said I never wanted to be put in that position again in my life because I wanted to concede, put the score up to 4-0 and walk off. And that's what I wrote in a letter to him, that I wanted to do it. And that was 2022. So, and I still went along with it for another 13 months before I finally said I just can't do it anymore. Because if you can't support your own children in something, how can you carry on supporting it? So that was the wake up call. That was like, I wouldn't support my boys doing this. So why am I supporting anybody doing this?
Yeah.
Because I'd support my sons in absolutely anything they've done. And if you can hand on heart say, but not that, then, you know, yeah, that was
And
one hell of a wake up call. That was. I was like, you just beat the world champion, and now for your next challenge, here's a man.
ridiculous. And I mean, most men seem to know that this is unfair, and I
Absolutely
suspect
do.
that Harriet knows it's unfair as well.
I think so. I do. I think that they both know it. I think everyone that does it knows it's unfair, and I think they do it. I don't know, maybe just to get in closer with women or just easy prize money. I don't know what the motivation is because I can't see how anyone can applaud it. I mean, I went
Yeah.
along with it because I had to. It's written in fact, it's still in our policies right now in black and white. It says if they have pronouns, use them. If the pronoun is he or she, then you must respect that and use them. And you mustn't write this on social media and you can't do this and you can't do that. That's all written there. And I honestly feel, in fact, that this is one of the things that I'm the most upset about is I feel like I've been brainwashed because I keep on saying I've been trying not to say he, to say she, sorry, and to not use pronouns, not out of unpoliteness, but because I know it's a man, so I'm going to say what I see. And I've been trying to do that for about 8 months, and I still keep saying she when I want to say he, and he when I want to say she, and mixing the
Yeah.
two together, and be writing a message to someone, and that'll get halfway through, and that'll change. So I do actually feel like I've suffered some kind of mental harm, if you like, from being forced to use pronouns. I really
Yeah.
do. And I think that to undo it is going to take either hypnosis or a long time, a good few years at least, for me to stop saying it or accidentally saying it. And it's starting to annoy myself. I'm starting to annoy myself. So, when I slip up and say she, I'm like, oh, hey, but I can't help it. I've literally, and I hate that they've done that to myself and other women. And I hate that this is being done to people in their workplace and all over the place, being forced to use a lie, basically. My son is 10 and he watched Lucy Smith play a few months ago. Now, I don't sit in my house talking about this in front of him. And he put his head up to the TV and he said, Mummy, that's a man, straight away. And I am not going to lie to my child. And I said, yes, you were right, that is. So I'm not gonna lie anymore to
Mhm.
anyone. And as far as I'm concerned, there are only two sexes, and there always have been. And like I said, you can do whatever you want with your personal life, but when you come into all the women's spaces, someone's got to hold the line and draw the line.